Fantastic. Well, it's my pleasure to introduce this audio, this checkpoint race. It's one of my favorites. I've always really enjoyed this one myself. And it's something that I think we can gain a lot from in many, many different ways. I mean, we could talk probably for 3 sessions just on this particular audio alone. But I thought I'd get started kind of the same way as we get started with, or the same way that Terry just started actually with this, and talking just briefly about the different personalities. It's obviously very important to understand who we're talking with, and that's the reason that that the personalities are in this particular audio. It's not so much that for us to understand about us, even though that is fun and that is important, and we do have to have that in order to be able to relate to others. But the real take-home point in all of this is simply that when we come across people and we want to learn more about them, how to relate with them, how to communicate with them, and basically how to best work with them, we have to understand how they work themselves, and that's going to make us much more effective communicators with them. And Terry goes by some of the cleric, sanguine, melancholy, and phlegmatic different pieces to what makes up a personality, or what personality type you are. And if you've never taken the test yourself, you can actually just Google personality plus quiz, and you'll see a little 42 question quiz there, so you can get a handle on where you're at and learn more about it. And actually, the Personality Plus book by Florence Littauer, it's in our top 5 books for a reason. I mean, it's extremely helpful, and if you've never taken the time to go through that book, it's really one of the most helpful books out there. Simply because this is a people business, and the better we are at relating to each other and as a team, the better that we're going to be at this business. So instead of me going through a lot of this, because there's so many different things here that I could go through, I want to turn it over actually early today for people to share their takeaways. Who'd like to start? See any hands up? Jay will start. Yeah, go ahead and unmute yourself, Jay.
All right.
Morning.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Yeah, the checkpoint race is, like as Josh said, is absolutely awesome. I probably listened to it at least a dozen times, if not more, because it really gets into, you've got to be able to connect with people right away. And I take it even further than what they really mentioned, because I think it really means when you're walking into somebody's house that you really don't know, you get to know them right away and start connecting with them. For me, especially on a personal contact, I start connecting with people immediately when I'm out and about, because my goal is never to go out and try and find somebody for my business. My goal is just to go out and meet people. And when I'm just out and about doing normal things and just be friendly. And a lot of the things that help, I read a book a long time ago called I'll have to remember the name off the top of my head. But anyway, it's something about basically not just how to win friends and influence people, but it's actually how to start a conversation and make friends. That's the name of it. And one of the things I look for right away is that if they're wearing something with a logo or something like that I can relate to, I'll immediately start asking them about that. Like if they have a t-shirt or a shirt that has Hawaii on it, for instance, I love Hawaii. And so I immediately can connect with them. It says, hey, do you go to Hawaii very often or whatever? It's like, when were you there? And so immediately when you start talking about something you have in common, it breaks down the barriers very quickly, and they become, in essence, a friend very quick. And that's, so if you're able to make that connection, then you can take it further down the road, and just because people just like you. And anyway, I'll leave it at that and let somebody else talk.
Okay, thanks, Jay. Go ahead and mute yourself again. Who's next? Who wants to share? Okay, I know Dina has a lot to share on this topic. I have a feeling she's just holding back for a minute, simply because I've learned so much from Dina about this stuff over the years. So I may turn it over here to her and make her talk if no one else raises their hand, just because I don't want to talk the whole time.
Okay. I mean, if no one else is raising their hand, I'll be happy to chat.
Yeah. Perfect.
I like this video and this audio a lot because it lays down the steps to establishing the right to talk to people. And I think sometimes we get coached on, hurry up, go talk to people, do 15 plans. And if we do not really follow that, this is a business about people. This is a business about building friendships, hanging out with people, caring about them, finding out what's important to them. You won't even get anybody on the train if you're not interested, and you can't keep them on the train if they feel like they've been shoved or pushed into something that they don't see the need for. So there's a lot of points in here I really liked. Not only the friendship piece of it, that you really don't get the business if you don't build a friendship first. You don't get the business if you are not really caring from your heart about giving people an opportunity to have financial independence, or to hang out with friends, or to just go find a little bit extra money that might make a difference for your family. I mean, for whatever people's reasons are. And not everybody is ever going to be a top income earner. They may want to be, but they may not do the work to get there, but yet they get benefit. And if we're in a hurry to find only the top income earners, because there's only going to be a small percentage of those, then we miss the joy of just giving people something so special, because the world is full of busyness and race and run and hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. Get your kids to school, get your kids back from school, hurry up, let's do something this weekend, let's do soccer, whatever it is for a small family. And then for me, who's, my kids are grown, it's hurry up and go do this activity, do that activity. Well, hurry up, we got to go find somebody. And it's really about slowing the pace down and looking for friends, looking for people you can offer something bigger than themselves, something so magnificent that somebody said, I didn't even know that existed. I didn't know I could have a vision where I could go do something that made a difference. I can go give somebody a little bit of hope. I can give somebody something that makes them feel special, And, Chris mentioned in here, just listen to them and I call it peeling the cosmic onion. Peel the cosmic onion and find out what makes them tick. And the more you talk to the people, as scary as it might be, the more you find out how everybody is struggling. And the more they're struggling, the higher self-confidence goes if you're just talking to them because they feel like you're the best friend in the world. So the concept of this audio is so powerful when we just say, this is building the business, and it's just fun, where you don't have to be better than anybody. You don't have to know everything. You just ask the questions. And of course, I wrote down, oh, really, why is that? When I first heard that, I was like, oh, that's a really good question. It may not be every question, but when you think about it, when I was doing some training in real estate, they have a similar question. They go, oh, tell me more. So tell me, why is that important to you? And then they'll say, well, it's important to you because, okay, so tell me, why is that important to you? So it's this layer of finding out, if you do real estate, is, why is it that you want this house with a neighbor in a neighborhood with kids, and you want a fenced yard? And what it comes down to is, I want to be the social chairman of my kids' life and invite everybody to come into my yard so that I can keep an eye on my kids. And you don't know that. So in the same way, we ask, why is it important to you to get more money? Why is it important to you to be around people you like? So that's a powerful question. That was really a good one. So, oh, really, why is that? Why is that important? You tell me more. And then, okay, so why is that important? So that's just this idea of just caring about people. And then the other one that I thought was powerful is the idea of dream building the future. And of course, everything else that's in there. But what I like about this company that I haven't seen really that much is shop for your future. And that's something I didn't do very well, and I'm focusing more on it, and that is I happen to be sitting at the Bay right now. We're here on a staycation in San Diego down at the Marriott. My birthday's next weekend, and we're celebrating early. And so we booked a room for 2 nights, and right outside, it's a little foggy, is the harbor. Right? There's a path downstairs. We're going to go eat at the restaurant Roy's Katana. And so that's dream building. Dream building is when you start acting as if you already own that life. And so if you're building friendships and you're inviting them to come dream build with you, you're helping them with their dream, and they're helping you be part of your dream. So, driving a special car, driving in a neighborhood you like, or imagining a vacation, or planning a little mini vacation, that's a piece that we can then help other people create confidence and belief. So I'm probably talking too long, but anyway, so those are some of the pieces that I found were really powerful. And you're right, Josh, this is something that I love so much. And that is, in order for us to help other people be successful, we have to help them figure out what they want. And then we have to care enough to just keep guiding them and coaching them and giving them confidence and being part of their world and getting them on the train and giving them the cookies and the cream. And even if they never build anything more than just being in that world, we've made their lives better, and we made ours better. So that's what I love. I mean, there's probably talk 10 more things, but those are the primary things I got out of it.
Oh, that's excellent. And yeah, like you were talking about the dream building, this is a huge dream building disc that we have here. And it goes right along with the personality types. Like, we have to understand what these other people are looking for and how they work as to what's going to motivate them to want to move them forward. And a lot of people have never done a lot of dream building exercises before, so this can be kind of new to them if they're just new to the business. And I know in the disc they talk about talking with a phlegmatic personality and trying to get them excited, like, oh, you can get up on the stage, you can be talking in front of all these people, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, if you do that to a phlegmatic, you're never going to see them again, because that is exactly the opposite of what they're looking for. So compared to appealing to the ego of someone who's a cleric, then you're going to be so good at this, you can be number one. Like, you have to understand the personality types in order to better relate to that person. And it's just so key, because if you get to understand, you're asking questions, you're going through the process, asking questions and listening is a big piece of this process, then it's going to help guide your questioning and going to help guide your dream building. But if you're not taking the time to listen and you don't understand who you're working with, then it's going to be a lot more complicated and confusing and less effective of a process. So love that stuff, Tina. Thank you. Who's next? John's got something. You want to unmute yourself, John?
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Deanna, she's right on, and Jay and everything, and it is. When you started this business, it was about, all right, let's go out and contact people. Let's show them the plan, and I found that getting to know people and ask questions about them first, and it may not, the first time you're with them, it is probably, you're not showing them the plan unless they're starting to ask questions. But generally, it is getting to know people and their different personality. And absolutely, if you start talking about getting up on recognition and going through the stage, that personality may not accept that as well. And they would just take off running. The first time I was talking to my cousin about it, and she loves everything about life leadership, but she's like, I'm not getting on stage. There's no way you're going to get me there, so it is about, getting to know them, but it also, as on the CD, he was talking about, it is a people business, and getting to know certain things and getting them on, are the folks we've got is to get them on system, because it is about their pace and how they're going to learn, and not necessarily John being able to, show them what it is. And it isn't, John's system, it's the marketing system, or it's Total Access or whatever. So that was a good CD. I really liked it. But it is about, finding their dream and finding their niche and getting them to talk about themselves. So That's all I really had to say.
Perfect. Well, definitely thanks for sharing, John. As we go through this business, we definitely have more and more, I guess, personal experience in talking to more and more people. And I love some of the stories that Chris shares about some of the people he's run across and how to bring them into the conversation, and then speak to the wife, find something that excites her, and then bring the husband back around into the conversation. It's important to be relating to everyone, knowing who you're working with. And one thing that no one has brought up yet are the actual checkpoints. Talking about making a friend first. I mean, he spends the majority of the disc on this piece, because even though we do call it showing the plan, and there is a structure to showing the plan, if you don't hit checkpoint 1 first, and if you haven't done a checkpoint race yourself, like that it says in the disc, it doesn't matter like who gets to necessarily the finish line first. If there are 5 checkpoints, you can't just do 1 and then go to 5. You have to go 1 and then to 2 and then to 3, and there is a process that definitely just works better for this. And it goes back to, some real basics, like people do business with those that they know, like, and trust. Well, that's what you're figuring out here when you're making a friend. You're establishing someone that now feels like they know you, they trust you, and how you present yourself and what you offer. And if you don't cross off that first checkpoint first and take the time to get to know them, because it's pretty standard in this industry as a whole, that people just, you're like, oh, you want to see something? And you just kind of start puking out information all over them. And they're not ready. They're like, who is this guy? I mean, I just met you 3 minutes ago, and now you feel like a used car salesman. I definitely don't want to talk to you again. Let me get my coffee and I'm out. Like, basically, if they have that feel where you're trying to sell them on something rather than actually caring about them, this is not going to work. So huge piece, making a friend, which is why 2/3 of the disc is about making a friend. Anyone else want to share anything before I continue? Got any hands up? Russell, let me unmute you, buddy. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to touch on what you had just said about they don't care what you know until they know what you care. You know, it's true. And then what Dan was talking about also, we don't need to know everything, and they can see that or need to know that we don't need to, because we can rely on the system, which is what's supposed to build it anyways. So I think that's the beauty of it, really. So
that's 100% true. That's something that I've seen here more than anywhere else that I've ever experienced, is that we have a system in place that does that training for us. We don't have to create our own system. I know in the past in businesses that I've worked with, it basically seemed like they didn't have a system. So I felt like I was always trying to create the system instead of spending my time talking with people, making friends, and doing that. I felt like, well, there has to be a back end to this where I can plug them into something so I can kind of automate this a little bit and actually run a system-based business. But in those particular businesses, there really wasn't that there, and it was just missing. So yeah, the beauty of this is that the system does the work, and if we're going to create leverage, we have to have a system that does the work. So that's 100% true. Anyone else in that van want to talk?
I just like that they say melancholies are the perfect one.
Perfect. Nice. Well, it's yeah. So just to kind of walk down a little more of that list that we had there, like making a friend is the first one, finding a need is the second one, and then he talks a lot about transferring the feeling, and that's where our belief comes into place. If we're plugging into information consistently, we're building up ourselves, we're building up our belief, then we're going to have a feeling to transfer, and it's going to be a positive one because we're fired up about what we're doing. But if we're not plugging into the system ourselves, and if we're not absorbing information, if we're not looking to improve ourselves, then when we talk to somebody, then it's going to be really hard to transfer that feeling, like Chris says, if we don't have a feeling to transfer. Or if we're negative on something, having a bad day, if we're not paying attention on those different things, then the feeling that we're transferring may not be the feeling that we want to transfer in order to actually help someone out. So got to make sure that we've got our head wrapped around the value of what we can bring into people's lives, how much we can help them if they really are looking for help, how much we can change their lives if they really want a change. And that has to be something that we have to be certain of ourselves in order to have that feeling to transfer. The next couple are involving them in the system and then booking a meeting are the last couple, but they kind of keep that fairly short simply because you have to hit those first checkpoints first or this isn't going to work. Anyone else have anything they want to chime in on? Maybe a play off. Dina, go ahead. Play off of anything I said too.
The other one that we didn't talk about yet is the what if. Mm-hmm. And that piece, you know, I like the way he brought it up. And that is, a lot of times we focus on the negative part of it. You know, what if I can't do this? What if I don't know how to do this? Rather than what if, and then reverse it. What if this is successful for me? So then what would that look like? And I'm a big believer that, I think I mentioned this last time, it's the two movie screens. Movie screen one is what everybody expects in their life. But if you're sitting in the middle of two, it's hard to focus on one or the other. But the other movie screen is where you have 10 million wishes and $10 million. And every time you make one wish, another wish comes in, so you always have 10 million. So the question is, what if this is my next life? What if this works? And then it is, what if this person does join? So each of those what ifs becomes, oh my gosh, I pulled it off. Oh my gosh, this person joined me. And even if all they're doing is getting on the train and you help them just find one person, you're building one person at a time, one person at a time. And the train, we're gonna look at the metaphor, not only are they on the train, but you're building, you know, what do I say, is the move across America. Here's this wagon train, the one following the next one, the one following the next one. You're building this long team of people where somebody might step up and become a leader, but everybody else is just as important because that person led me to this person, that led me to this person, that led me to this person. So going back to working backwards, the what if is, I am in the right place. This is the best day. The more people I meet, that opens my life up. I am in the right place. So I like the way he contrasted it from asking the wrong questions. What if I can't do this? What if I don't know how? What if this never works? To what if this is the greatest thing that ever happened to me? Flip the mind around and then go find that one person who finds the next person, finds the next person. So that was something that I hadn't really thought about it that way. So I liked that idea too. Just another thought to generate any more discussion.
Yeah, I did too, actually, Dina. And he closes the discount with that. That's so often. I mean, we're surrounded by a negative mindset so often around us constantly, and employee mentality and all of that stuff is just surrounding us. And I mean, it's everywhere. And so many people are going to ask, well, what if I get started and I fail? Or what if like this isn't for me? Or what if I put time into this and I don't think it's worth it? Or what if? I mean, there's two different types of mindsets. You can have a scarcity mindset or you can have an abundance mindset. And in the world of scarcity, you're always going to be questioning things. You're always going to be questioning if you're doing the right thing. It's going to probably lead to what they call like analysis paralysis, where if you're constantly thinking that, you never take any action moving forward, you're never going to actually get anywhere, and then you're going to be right. Basically it's not going to do anything for you. But when I really like the way he closed that too, because what if the next person you talk to is the next Chris Brady? What if the next person you talk to is the next life coach? And what if you taking that action dramatically changes your life and your team's life? It's two very opposite ways to do that, and we're surrounded with people that take that negative aspect and saturate their life with it. But really what we're looking for is to help people gain that mindset of thinking positively, because what you think is what you're going to manifest, and what you manifest is going to be your destiny. So I really like that part as well.
And what if I never did this?
Another good one. You got to, what if I'm going to regret not doing this for the rest of the time that I'm, doing this 9 to 5 that I don't like? That's a great one. The fear of regret is huge.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you, Dana. Liz? Let me, I'll get you here. I got it. Go ahead.
I wasn't raising my hand. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. It's, I just saw like part of the screen. It looked like this, so I don't know if that was what that was. But okay, no, that's fine.
E.T.
Anyone else? Okay, we've got Russell again. Let me, I'll unmute you, Russell.
Okay.
Go ahead.
We're talking about transferring a feeling, you know, like in a meeting setting or one-on-one, that also comes across the contact on the phone. Your belief comes through that phone. You know, if you're all not believing that you're going anywhere, they can tell that, you know, and that'll affect that.
Definitely. Even if it's not spoken, even if it has nothing to do with the words, it's that vibe that you're carrying of whether it's the belief or not belief in what you're doing. And, you know, and there's no better way to increase that belief than plugging into the system and choosing to surround yourself and associate with people like on this call. I mean, this is doing a lot of good things for a lot of people, hearing all these different facets and perspectives of what they thought of the audio, and that's 100% true, Russ. Anyone else in that van there before I turn you off or mute you for a second?
I can't get.
Okay, we're good. Anyone else have anything to say here? I do have something that I'd like to wrap up with here. If we've got everybody that's done, looks like I don't see any hands. So I just wanted to share something that happened to me just this last week. And I thought I didn't really even think about it, to be honest, until after these situations were over. But I've gotten in the habit of going through these checkpoints, and now they just kind of happen. And on Thursday, basically, I had two opportunities to essentially go through this checkpoint race myself with a couple of new contacts. So I went ahead and did that, and then I wrote down briefly a couple notes about the conversation I had and who these people were. Well, the first one was actually an Uber driver. So I want to be able to help you put these techniques and these ideas actually into play, because once you start doing this, I mean, they work. So my Uber driver, basically when making a friend, I just was asking questions. I was listening. He's the pastor of a church. I was asking about his experience with Uber. And then I was asking him why he decided to do Uber, because anyone that's looking to add a little something to their income or add a little something to the side of what they're already doing means that they may be open for a different opportunity. Don't really know what they're looking for unless you start asking questions. So when I asked him why is he doing Uber, he's talking about supporting his family. He told me a little bit about his mission with the church. And he also told me that he cares a lot about family values. So it just seemed like there was such a good, solid base there to talk to him about life leadership that when I started talking about a little bit what I did, and that was actually after I was asking questions. You know, he was kind of curious. Like, I don't think a lot of people are asking him questions. He said a lot of people hop in the back seats and, you know, they're not really talkative, even though he's a pretty talkative guy. So I was just telling him that we're on the same page about the family values and wanting more time with the family. And because I talked to him twice, he still sees that I'm fired up from the first time that I talked to him. And that stuck with him. So the consistency of him seeing me twice now and me being excited both times, he's actually, it kind of turned the corner of how excited he is to learn more about this. So because I've been consistent, now we have a coffee scheduled for this next week where he wants to learn more about what we do. It just seemed to make a lot of sense with it for him. So literally, I mean, I followed the checkpoint race pretty much down to a T. I mean, I made a friend, got to know him, found a need, which is what I found by asking him why he's doing Uber, finding out what his values are, what he's looking for. And then the transferring the feeling, again, the consistency of me talking to him a couple times, being fired up a couple times about the same type of thing. And what it led to was the next couple things involving him in the system. I sent him an audio, passed off a little information, and then we booked a meeting, the last step, which was basically getting a coffee for this next week. So that's on the schedule, and it all came from kind of a random contact of an Uber driver. And we're surrounded by these people all the time that, you know, they come in and out of our lives. We don't know what they're looking for until we ask. And on that same day, this is actually Thursday, we also had hold on just a sec. We also had a air conditioner problem, and it's about to get hot out here in San Diego, up into the 90s here this weekend. So I wanted the air conditioner to work, so we got a guy in here to do it. And basically, I started off making a friend. You know, he's checking out the air conditioner, and offering something yourself is a really easy way to start the conversation. So as he was working, you know, he's wearing long pants and a long sleeve shirt. I asked, and it's warm. I mean, I asked him, would you like some water? Something as simple as just asking if I can give him something that would help him, just ask him if he wants a drink. And pretty much the conversation went like this. Did you need a water? And he said, no, I just ate on the way over here. It's like, wow, do you cover a pretty big area, or what is the area that you cover for your air conditioning? He said, we do, actually, I do put in a lot of miles. I go all the way from southern San Diego County all the way up to Orange County, which in my head, I was saying, okay, well, that's a good time. Like, if he's interested in this, he's got plenty of time to throw a couple discs in the CD player while he's on the road. And then I got to know him a little bit better and found out he's got a 6- and a 9-year-old. He's really passionate about art, has this art website. He's trying to, they chose, basically, it was a hard choice between them having his wife stay at home or go get a second job, or a job for her, because, you know, they're with dealing with, especially in the summer, dealing with some type of daycare or something so they both could work. The trade-off really isn't there for them to, because what they'd be paying is about what they'd be making. And so many people, especially with young kids, are exactly in that situation. So found out a lot about him, and he just was kind of stuck in that spot, and he felt to use that word stuck. And like I said, I checked out his stuff on the web. He showed me, like, I got out my phone, he was showing me some of the art that he had done, and really was just connecting with him as a person. So I made a friend, and I told him, you know, I'm essentially working right now. I mean, I told him that out front, you know, I'm looking to make a friend and get to know people, and this is kind of what I do, you know. It's I'm working right now, and if you're interested, I could show you a way to make some money on a very flexible schedule, if you'd want to look at it. I mean, you told me about your wife. You told me that you're not able to do some of the things you want to because money is a stretch. And so what we did is we exchanged information. And personally, I mean, some people use business cards. I just like to grab my phone, and I put his information into my phone just to solidify that. And I called him and shot him a text so that we were connected. Just because a lot of times if you hand out a card, that card, it doesn't get in anyone's phone. And a lot of times you may not have a way to follow up with them after that. But we exchanged info, and then I used our marketing system using the branded email to send him send him an email and a couple of the links that he wanted to check out. And actually, since we had kind of done a mini presentation or just made a friend, and I told him just a little bit about the financial aspect, I grabbed the first night pack, and I knew he was going to be on the road for a little longer that day. So I grabbed the first night pack that has one of Dan's CDs in it, as well as a more logic-based one from Rob. And you get to your Dan story and his and getting out of the financial matrix. And he said, you know, there's a reason why we met today, I have a feeling. It seemed like some of the things that you spoke to were questions that I was having. You didn't even know I was having them, but because I asked questions, I found what his needs were. So I just worked through those checkpoints, and literally there are people out there. I mean, there's people out there that are praying for an answer. Like, we have an answer if we're willing to open up our mouths and we're willing to share the system. We're willing to share, like, invest a little bit in tools so that we can share those tools with others. And if we just sincerely care about helping them out of the situation that we're in. So I just wanted to share those couple of real life examples. Like I said, one of them is now an appointment. The other one is a follow-up. One's, like I said, a sit-down coffee. The other one, it will just be a phone call and to touch base about that first night pack. But two very easy situations, made a friend, and glad I made a friend anyways. Pretty cool guy. His art's pretty awesome too, so I wouldn't mind picking up a piece of that from him. And I don't know, this business can be easy if we make it easier. It can be hard if we make it hard. So that's pretty much all I have. Does anyone else have anything they want to share before we wrap up here? Okay, well, it's great seeing your smiling faces again this morning, and great to appreciate that extra big smile there, Liz. Excellent. But yeah, so definitely excited about everything that we have going on with this great information, and we will be. I believe that John, are you next week? Go ahead and unmute.
Yeah, I am. And, I thought it would be simple to pick out one of my favorites, but I've got it down to about a handful. So I'll have that information to you tomorrow because I really want to try to tie it in with, the checkpoint race and what Jay picked out last weekend. So I'll have it to you by tomorrow.
Fantastic. Looking forward to that, John. So you all have a fantastic weekend. It's only Saturday morning already, so got a lot of weekend left. So getting fired up about convention and fired up about seminar. A lot of things going on, and looking forward to seeing you all next week. Keep in touch and enjoy. Bye-bye.